The story of the old kingdom of Egypt unfolds along the quiet, eternal flow of the Nile, where the rhythm of flooding and retreat shaped not only the land but the very soul of civilization that believed order was sacred and chaos a force to be held at bay. And in this fertile corridor between desert and river, humanity organized itself into villages, then into nomes, and finally into a unified kingdom under the first divine kings, where Pharaoh was not merely a ruler, but the living embodiment of Ma'at, the cosmic balance that bound gods, nature, and mankind together. And from the very beginning of the Old Kingdom, which emerged around 2686 BC with the Third Dynasty, Egypt entered an age of unprecedented stability, ambition, and architectural vision, guided by rulers who sought not only govern the living but to command eternity itself. And it was under King Djoser that this vision first took monumental form, as his architect Imhotep conceived the step pyramid at Saqqara, transforming simple mud brick mastabas into a towering stone monument that reached toward the heavens, announcing that Egypt had mastered stone, labor, and belief on a scale unseen in human history. And around these monuments grew complex systems of administration, taxation, and labor organization, where farmers became builders during flood seasons, artisans honed sacred crafts, and scribes recorded the will of kings in hieroglyphs that blended art, language, and magic. And as dynasties progressed into the Fourth Dynasty, the Old Kingdom reached its zenith under rulers like Sneferu, Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure, whose reigns were defined by the construction of the Great Pyramids of Giza, structures so precise and massive that they remain symbols of human achievement thousands of years later, not built by slaves but by organized communities bound by duty, belief, and the promise of participation in a sacred project that ensured cosmic harmony. And these pyramids were not isolated tombs, but the hearts of complex ritual landscapes, aligned with stars, surrounded by temples, causeways, and cemeteries that reflected Egypt's deep belief in the afterlife, where the Ka and Ba would reunite if the body and name were preserved, and daily life in the Old Kingdom followed strict social hierarchies, yet was remarkably stable, with farmers tending fields, craftsmen producing tools, jewelry, and statues, priests maintaining rituals, and officials managing granaries that safeguarded the kingdom against famine, while the pharaoh stood at the center as mediator between gods and men, offering sacrifices to Ra, Horus, and Osiris to ensure the sun would rise, the Nile would flood, and the world would remain in balance. And beyond the Nile Valley lay deserts that protected Egypt from invasion, while also serving as sacred realms of death, where tombs and pyramids rose in the sands as eternal houses. And the Old Kingdom reflected this worldview, rigid yet serene, designed not to capture motion but permanence, presenting figures in idealized forms that transcended time, while inscriptions recorded not personal emotion but cosmic role. And though the Old Kingdom appears peaceful in memory, it required constant vigilance, with expeditions sent to Sinai for turquoise, to Nubia for gold, and to the eastern deserts for stone, extending Egypt's influence while reinforcing the authority of the central state. Yet over centuries, the very system that created stability began to strain, as powerful nobles in the provinces accumulated wealth and authority, reducing the absolute power of the pharaoh, while long reigns and climatic changes placed pressure on resources. And by the Sixth Dynasty, despite rulers like Pepi II governing for decades, the balance of Ma'at weakened, floods became less predictable, loyalty fractured, and the once unshakable central administration slowly unraveled, leading Egypt into the first intermediate period, where unity gave way to fragmentation. And yet, even in decline, the Old Kingdom left an eternal legacy, defining kingship, architecture, religion, and art in ways that would shape Egyptian civilization for millennia. And today, as the sun sets over the pyramids and shadows stretch across limestone blocks, the whispers of this age still linger, reminding us of a time when humanity believed it could touch eternity through stone, ritual, and faith. And as the Nile continues its ancient journey, the memory of the Old Kingdom flows with it, calm, enduring, and eternal, carrying the listener gently into rest as the stars will slowly above the desert sky.